Unity MotorSports Garage here, episode number 2. As you can see, I have a lot of stuff on the tailgate of my truck. Just want to go over the basics of what it's going to take to get started in tuning these Holley carburetors. Okay? Depending on where you're at of hot rodding skills, you know, this may be the very first time you've seen a Holley carburetor, and if it is, I recommend getting yourself some books on Holley carburetors. I've had these books forever, and they're great reference guides. This one first came out in 1980, and this was the very first Holley carburetor book that I had when I was 12 years old. So me and this book go a long way back. This is a later updated version of this one by the same author, and this one, Super Tune and Modify Holley Carburetors, this is by my buddy David Vizard. I was actually privileged to have my car inside this book, so he and I, really good friend of mine, and just want to thank him for that. So let's go and talk a little bit about the history of my tuning carburetors. You know, when I first started doing this, I was 12 years old, and my parents had a 1970 Plymouth Duster, and I rebuilt the 750 Holley double pumper that was on it, and believe it or not, it ran when I got done with it. But I had this book right here to guide me along. And through the years, I've learned little tricks and learned different aspects of how the circuits inside these carburetors, of how they're intertwined, and learned how they're different. And so you start looking for performance advantages in Holley carburetors, and believe it or not, there is a lot of differences out there in carburetors. And you just using boosters, for example, there's like, this is a straight leg booster. We'll go into detail later about back in 2009, I was in an article in Popular Hot Rodding, and had a 4.6 liter Mustang. You see there I am, and I changed out the boosters in the carburetor and picked up quite a bit of horsepower. I mean, we're talking nearly 30 horsepower. So my learning has evolved, and am I where I need to be? No, because here's the thing. I don't care who you are, you never are done learning. Like, I've been messing with these carburetors practically all of my life, and I'm still learning about them, you know. But I want to pass my knowledge along to the next guy, because what I have found through the years is there's not many people left that can work on carburetors. And when you go online, carburetors are starting to get a really bad reputation, and it's unfounded. And it's unfounded because the reason why they're getting a bad reputation is because no one knows how to work on them. And so they're this black art, mysterious thing. But when you get to the nut and bolt basics of this, I'm going to tell you that the engineers that first developed carburetors back in the early 1900s, they were brilliant as far as the amount of physics that's involved in the operation of this carburetor. Fluid dynamics, of how fluid flows with air introduced into certain systems. I mean, it's really mind-boggling what we're going to get into, and we're going to talk about breaking down each system, each circuit inside the carburetor, and tuning it specific. And I hope that you get something from it, and I hope that you can impress your friends, but more importantly, beat them when you go to the track, because this is the knowledge that makes you win races. Have a good night. See you later.